This video is to show you how to put together either your Peluche version 2 or your Denny Monster version 2 Burker's dog beds. First of all, the first thing is to check and make sure you have all the parts. Check your part list that came in the instructions. Basically, you should have 2 long tubes, which are for the longer ends, like these right here. You should have 2 short tubes, like these, they're for the shorter ends. Go right here. You should have 2 of the longer inserts that will be pushed into the fabric on both sides, and then 2 shorter of those same. Also, you should have 4 corners, 4 legs, 4 of the vinyl caps for the bottom of the legs, and also 4 of the corners, the nuts and bolts that go with each of the corner. Depending on what size, if it's a Denny Monster, it's going to have either 2 bolts with nuts that go through the center right here. If it's a XXL or 3X, it's going to have 4 of these. So 1 here, 2, and then 3 and 4, but only if it's an XXL or a 3X. So now we're going to go over the tools that you're going to need. You're going to need a pair of pliers, preferably 2 screwdrivers. You can get away with just using a Phillips if that's all you have, but it's better to have a Phillips and a flathead. And a hammer. Either a wooden mallet, a rubber mallet, or just a regular hammer will work as well. Okay, now we're going to start putting the bed together. We're going to start with a long piece first because you want to end with a short piece. So that's why you start with a long piece. Now this video is using the 35-ounce vinyl. This is by far the most difficult one to put together. The reason we chose this is last time we had used a fairly easier bed to put together, and we just kind of felt that it was better to just show the toughest one. So if you can put together the toughest one, you can definitely put together the easiest one. So this bed is a little bit more challenging. If you bought a ballistic nylon, it's going to be much easier than what you're seeing in this video. So right here, the object is to get this inside that groove. That is a tough part. So what you want to do is line it up, and you want to just start pushing it in and work your way all the way down. Just like this, just keep pushing it in to kind of work it in the groove. Run your finger across it a couple times. And it's not very easy with this fabric. And when it starts to go in, you want to turn the PVC down a little bit. Just kind of work it back and forth a little bit. Push it. And again, roll the PVC down a little bit. There we go. And kind of roll it on there. That gets it in. And so now it's in. Now we're going to show. You can see how it's in here. This is where we're going to slide the tubing into right here. I'm going to go ahead and get one of the long tubing. We're using the pointing end, and it's pointing for a reason so that it's a little bit easier to get it started. And you get it in there, and sometimes you have to get it in and kind of twist a little bit to get it going. Pull it like that. There we go. sometimes it'll bunch up like that. When it starts to do that, it doesn't matter how hard you hit it here, it's not going to go in. So what you got to do is pull the material back. So usually I hold it with one hand. I mean, I can just push it in with my fist. I could use a hammer if I had to. But again, if it bunches up, it doesn't matter how hard you hit it, it's not going to go in. So again, pull the material straight. Okay, so now I'm going to move to doing a small side. Is what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this second piece on, and then I'm going to put the corner on. You could do it the other way around. Right now, if you had ballistic, you could just put the corner on right now if you wanted to. But with the vinyl, it's a little bit tough. So we're going to do it this way. So again, trying to get this started here. There we go. I just want to kind of work it. And so what I'm doing is I'm pulling up with my fingers right here. Again, point it in, get it in there, and if you need to, you can push this like this to pull the material in a little bit. And again, I'm kind of twisting and pushing at the same time. Shorter ends are easier. So another thing I wanted to mention right now is that the mat is with the tag side up, and the PVC is with the black lettering side up. So okay, we're going to put on the first corner. So again, I know it looks like, well, why did we do that? We should put the corner on first, but actually this is easier. So just fold it like this. And one thing we want to do is line up this notch. This notch in here. You want to line it up to the notch that runs the length of the PVC. So when I put this on, I'm lining up this notch right here, which is probably going to be hard to see in the video, but I am. So I'm just kind of pushing it in, hit it a couple times. Now, with this, to get this side on, just twist it all the way here, line it up, and push it in. And it's just going to pop right in, just like that. Now here's where I am going to use the hammer a little bit. And I'm looking in here to see if it's lined up and if it's matching, if it's mating all the way with the groove. Black side up, vinyl, start it off where it's at the top. I'm going to start. Lined up right. Okay. I'm just kind of working it in. The longer sides are more difficult. Have to go back and forth a few times before you turn it. Okay, it feels like it's ready to turn a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it down. What I'm doing now is I'm holding the mat and I'm turning the PVC downwards, and that kind of gets it to slide into place. So again, I'm the tubes. Holding the mat. Trying to keep it from binding up. Always, if it's going to bind, it's going to bind over towards the corner. Mat. Push it a little bit. And just kind of turn it in, loosen things up. There. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put on another corner. Again, we're lining up these with the channels in the PVC. For this one, just fold that over. Okay. I'll use the same method I did to get that corner in. Just going to fold this over, line that up, straighten it back out. Okay? So we're almost there, right? Again, this is the hardest bed to put together. The 35-ounce vinyl is by far the hardest. It's going to be a lot easier if you ordered a ballistic nylon or one of the vinyl mesh mats. But this is a very good solid mat. So on this one, I cannot do it like I did the other ones. I need to put the corner on first. So again, corner lines up, corner lines up. I'm going to put the corner on first, lining it up. Okay, flip this up, put it away, and we're going to do our last one. I'm just trying to line it up and get it pushed in. This is where the hammer comes in handy. It's the last piece. So you want to get the last piece seated all the way back. Okay, so now it's just the same thing we've been doing. Push it in. Here, since I can't twist it down, I'm putting my hand underneath and my hand on top to push the fabric in. With the last one, it's not going to be perfect, but get it started. So I'm going to twist it a little bit to get going, and you can kind of jiggle it back and forth, loosen it up a little bit. You can push this in. Not fighting against you the whole time. And so what I'm doing is I'm pushing this forward like this, so that the mat's not pulling as tight. The only thing is that sometimes you got to pull it this way a little bit, straighten back out, and then push it in. So again, I'm turning it like this, pushing it in. Now it's bunched up. That's no good. Put it out a little bit. Down. Push it that way. Okay. There we go. Okay. make sure this is flat. Pulling it flat, push it in a little bit, relieve some of the pressure on it. Looks like probably maybe one more time and we'll get it. This is always the hardest part, is this last piece right here. So one trick, see how I just pushed this in here? It pulled it flat and kept it flat. So now, I'm going to just very easily try to hammer this in, hoping that it will hold it flat enough. It's almost there. Pulling this back, I want to have it loosen some tension. Okay, let me feel it. Okay, yeah, that's actually good enough. So now we're going to do the last corner. And so to prepare for the last corner, you want to put the bed like this. Okay, so now we're going to do the last corner. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide in one end, and then we're going to wedge it the rest of the way in. So I'm going to put one end on, like this, and kind of slide it. You want to leave it a little loose, and then I'm going to, there's a couple methods to do this. One is to just push it and force it like that. If it's really tight, if you want to set it down on the ground, this doesn't work so well on the table, but and step on it to push it in, you can do that as well. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and force it over there. And now, so now I've got it kind of lined up. And at this point, you can put it on the ground and step on it right here. I'm going to try to give it a good push on this table. Hopefully this table will hold. But, so, here, I'm going to change it so I can get some leverage. And just going to push down right here. And it will pretty much snap into place for you. Again, I recommend putting it on the floor though and stepping on it. So now we have the bed is completely put together. As you can see, all four corners are on. Okay, so now we're going to move on to putting on one of the corner plates. This is a corner plate. You should have 4 of those. And the way these work is these slide in here, and then they bolt on. Okay, now we're going to do a corner close-up. The first thing you want to do is clear the mat out of the channels, especially if this is a 35-ounce vinyl mat, and I'm just using a flat tip screwdriver to push the mat under. And I'm going to do that for both of the channels. Okay, so there you go. I've pushed them both out of these channels. You can see right there. There's no mat in there, and there's no mat on this side as well. If this was a ballistic mat, you would be able to have some of the mat in the channel. It would be okay, it would fit. But for the 35-ounce vinyl, you need to make sure that it's clear of this channel. Okay, so now I'm going to take my corner guard and note that I have the countersunk part of the hole on the top. So that side needs to be up. So to install it, you basically push down and push in just like that. And now you're going to notice that the grommet isn't exactly lined up perfectly, and that's okay. We're going to show you how to fix that. So in this case, our grommet is over to the right a little, and we want to pull it back over to the left. So basically, to do that, whichever side you want to pull it towards, you basically put the screwdriver under the plate over here on the side, and all you want to do is pull up a little on the screwdriver. Just like that. Just kind of pull it up. You're just prying down on the mat. That will pull your grommet right into place. And then when you have it in place, just kind of hold the screwdriver there. Go get your screw while it's in place and put it in. And what I like to do is just use the screwdriver and kind of screw it in. And it'll just go in nice and easy for you. Just pull your screwdrivers out. You got it in, it's all lined up. Now you just want to take your Teflon locking nut. Go ahead and screw the nut on the bottom side. Then from there is all you need to do is get a pair of pliers, grab the nut from the bottom, use a screwdriver from the top right here, and just screw it in. Just screw it till it's nice and snug up against your mat. Okay, so now we're going to show you installing the bolts in the rails right here. Depending on the size of the bed, you'll either have 2 holes in the rails or you'll have 4 if you bought one of the larger beds. If you bought an XL or a 3X, you're going to have 4 holes. This is pretty self-explanatory, but so this just goes in here, comes out through the bottom, and you tighten it up. Now this is easier to do if you have the bed flipped upside down. That's usually how I would do it. So you just put this down through. Again, we have our 1/4 locking nut. Goes on the bottom. And you would just tighten it up. So now I'm going to flip the bed over and I'm going to tighten it up. Okay, so you can use a pair of pliers, you can use a socket, whatever you want to do. I'm going to use a socket for this case. So, I'm going to tighten it up. It just needs to be firmly tightened, just so that the top of the threads right here come up just a little bit above the nut. And that's proper tightening for this bed. Okay, so now we're almost done. Now we're just going to put the legs on. These are the legs. They go in the corners. We like to face the legs so that the black writing is towards the middle. Just push it on like that. Not much to it. Go ahead and take one of your vinyl caps. Just kind of squeeze them a little bit. Just kind of put it on with the turning motion, and it just goes right on. It's very easy. So all you do is repeat that. All 4. And the bed will be done. So here's the bed after it's done. And you'll notice that all 4 of the corner plates are in. Our 2 1/4 nuts and bolts have been put in right here on the longer sides. Again, if you had a larger size bed, if this was an XXL or a 3X, you would have 1/4 bolts for all 4 sides. There would be ones on these sides as well. So this is what it looks like on the back. As you can see, it's all put together. All the black lettering is facing down so you don't see it on the top of the bed. We have our vinyl caps on for our legs. And the bed is completely finished and ready to go.